Another eventful Sunday, full of NFL games, a couple of surprises, a couple of amazing performances, especially from Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens versus the Detroit Lions. That was one hell of a game. One hell of a performance by Lamar and the whole Baltimore Ravens, but this game right here, the Dolphins and the Eagles, the Sunday night showdown, what I believe, listen, I have the 49ers and the Dolphins in the Super Bowl. If it turned out being the Eagles representing the NFC, I wouldn't be surprised. But honestly, I still think I'm going with the 49ers as the NFC favorites. But this was basically a Super Bowl preview for a lot of people. And if this is any inclination of what the Super Bowl is going to be, then it's safe to say that the Eagles will be Super Bowl champions. But it wasn't. A lot of season left. And I do think while the Dolphins have proven to be a great team, still got a lot to work on. And so do the Eagles. But we're going to watch this game. We're going to break down everything that happened. And then we'll give a little bit more of an analysis, afterwards. So let's go ahead and let's get into this. We're going to turn it down a little bit. Do my own little commentary. Yeah, I mean, look, you want to dominate a team, you got to dominate up front. And I feel like the Eagles' offensive line, led by Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, it's just, it's nothing you could do with them up front, man. And that tush push, it dominated this whole game. I think Jalen did a pretty good job. I think he had that one interception that's in the third quarter. I could be mistaken. But I think Jalen overall did a pretty good job. And shout out to the Dolphins defense because they got multiple stops this game. And when they needed the offense to execute on those stops, they didn't. Tyreek Hill was Tyreek Hill. I think he went 11 receptions for like 88 yards, which for him is actually considered containing him. So shout out to the Eagles. I think they did a really good job on Tyreek all game long. But I mean, just look at that time. Oh, you know what? He did fumble. He sure did fumble. Yeah, the Dolphins defense made the plays. They really needed the offense to execute on some of those turnovers. And that's a great throw. Of course, that boy Waddle. I mean, he's different. Great defense by the Eagles. Keeping them to 3. I remember this. I think Scott gets a decent return. Yeah, that was a good play on special teams. For both teams, I feel like the Eagles, they just need a little bit more consistency from Jalen. Again, I think he played from a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. I think Jalen gave a 7 tonight. 7 or 8. I'll give him 8. And, you know, not saying that I expect him to get the 10, but when they get into those NFC, you know, in the playoffs, especially against the 49ers, you're just going to need a little bit more out of Jalen. But, you know, he's getting the job done. And Tua, some of his reads were questionable. We know he can make the throws, but just some of his reads were just a little, definitely going to have to clean that up. I don't think Tua's overrated. I know that's kind of becoming a thing. Like, ooh, is Tua overrated? Is he living off of yardage, yards after the catch? I don't think so. I think Tua's a phenomenal quarterback who just still has some things to work on. This was a great play by Jalen. A.J. Brown went crazy. I find it hilarious how A.J. went from crying the first 2 or 3 games about not getting the ball to pretty much dominating the past 5 games. But anyway. Hell of a catch. That was a good throw, but that was a catch right there. Good throw. Tyreek found a weak spot in the zone. What the hell happened? Was it face mask? How did my man's helmet come on? Yeah, that blitz by the Dolphins, man. They was getting to him. And once again, they needed the offense to make some plays, and they just didn't. Great job. Great connection by Tua and Tyreek. Boy, Mostert is a beast. Mostert is him, bro. I noticed both Tua and Jalen were like, they were a little fidgety on the snaps. Like they were both like fumbling and like they couldn't catch the snap for whatever reason. Both of them all night long. I thought that was a little weird. At least in the first half. See, that was just a bad throw. I think AJ was there, and Jalen just threw it behind him. You know, it's plays like that Jalen got to clean up. That was great blocking. For real. Just look at that blocking. That's great blocking. That was a terrible. So there were about 3 or 4 calls that the Eagles got away with. Like, it was not good. Now that right there, once again, that's just one of them plays Jalen cannot make. Like, you just gotta, you can't do it. You gotta protect the ball. But I do love the fact that he got out of the pocket and made a lot of plays with his legs. Good protection. Oh, good on Devontae for just getting open. I don't even know if that was his route, but good job just keeping his eye on Jalen and getting open. DeAndre Swift being DeAndre Swift. Yeah, him and Goddard, they was locked in all night long. That's a great throw, and that's just A.J. Brown being A.J. Brown. That was a great throw on the slant route. That was beautiful. Yeah, man. Tua did a pretty good job, man. He gotta just be a little bit better on the. See that right there? That's a dime. That's a dime. That's such a great throw. Like literally on the back shoulder, on the run, out of the pocket. Like that's just a perfect throw. Look at this. That's just a great throw, but you got to do that consistently. That was just, I mean, you lobbed it in the air. I mean, that was just a bad decision. Is that short? Yeah, that had to be short. But doesn't matter because this tush push, it's incredible, man. Like, I don't know what the percentages are for that play, but it should be 100%. I don't think they've ever not gotten the first down running that play. Crazy, bro. They did it like 4 or 5 times, bro, and executed on all of them. That's just a great play. I mean, I don't know what the defenders were doing. Double coverage. That's tough. That's tough. Yeah, by this point the game was over, but that whole drive was crazy. That's great defense. Great defense. Yeah, man. Yeah, this was a hell of a performance by the Eagles, especially in the second half. Just execution on both sides. And, again, I don't think the Dolphins played a terrible game. Just down the stretch when it came to making plays, the Eagles made the plays. But there's really nothing that you could like definitively look at and say that's why the Dolphins lost. Like they played a really good game. Again, the Eagles just executed down the stretch, and the Dolphins didn't. And when the Dolphins defense did make plays and get stops, the offense did a lot of 3 and outs. And you can't do it. You can't do it. When you get turnovers in this league, you got to be able to execute and capitalize on them. And the Dolphins didn't. But relatively still early in the season, we're getting almost to the halfway mark. I think both teams will be better towards the end of the season. Both will be favorites in that conference. And, again, I got the 49ers representing the NFC, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Eagles. They look better week after week. Again, you remember the beginning of the season. The offense just didn't look too good. AJ Brown was complaining on the sideline. Like, now you just see the progression that they're making on both sides, but especially offense. They're just getting better. And for the Dolphins, look, I know people are saying, look at his record versus everybody else, and when he runs into the elites, which has only been the Bills and the Eagles, he didn't show up. But out of those two teams, between the Eagles and between the Bills, both of those teams have been like battle tested, deep playoff runs the past few years. Like, they kind of set up that way. The Dolphins, this is like their first go round of being considered elites in a very long time, and I think Tua is doing a pretty damn good job. You just got to get better, clean some things up, but both teams will be fine. That's honestly, that's my analysis right there. I think both of these teams will be fine. Sure, we wanted a little bit more of a showdown, but I think it was actually a really good game. And both teams have something to build on, but both teams are still favorites, and they'll be fine. They'll be fine. But y'all let me know how y'all felt about the game. Let me know how y'all felt about these two teams. What do you see? How do you see them moving forward? And let me know how you feel about Tua. Do you feel like he, what do you think he has to improve on? Same for Jalen Hurts. And, yeah, man, I'm really just eager to know how y'all felt about this game. So y'all let me know. But as always, like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate y'all for watching. Until next time, peace.